Howdy, hello, it's Dew here, and this is just a little video of me painting Hu Tao from Genshin Impact, and I hope the audio is fine because it seems like my mic is picking up absolutely every little inch of movement that I make. But yeah, this video took me way longer than it should have. Both the painting and actually like editing and then recording the voiceover and what have you. Nothing particularly challenging about the painting. My desk kind of broke, but one screw was missing and 11 screws were loose. So yeah, and then once I had it back, I didn't want to set anything up. It's been just a little bit of a bump on the law. But I'm glad I finished it because I did enjoy painting. I did enjoy painting this piece, and I had fun with it. I really liked my sketch, and I liked the painting pretty alright. I think I did my best to keep that sort of like really fun, light, playful energy, because I think that's, you know, when I think Hu Tao, I definitely think very mischievous, but more so just playful, and so that's the vibe I was trying to bring in with the posing and to keep that in the gesture. For this painting, I am using mostly my Reeves gouache. It's like a student grade cheap gouache, and then I also am using, for my white though, I have a Winsor & Newton titanium white. I do recommend like getting like a good white gouache because it is helpful both for like if you're drawing or painting in a different medium, but it is also really good for when you are painting with gouache, because especially cheaper gouache, like having white to add into that opacity is really nice. So that is the one that I use. Stepping back to like talking about the drawing, I want to play more, like, I guess the subject. I want to play more Genshin Impact than what I have played. Lately I haven't been playing a lot of video games in general, but maybe it was all of the Kumax or Coley Does Things videos that I'd been watching at the time, but I just really wanted to sketch some Genshin characters, and I really liked how my Hu Tao sketch came out, and I think I captured that energy, and so I was thinking like, okay, I need to paint something, so why not paint this and try to make it like a finished piece. It definitely could have came out better. I think the background was definitely my least favorite part of the whole thing. I need to get much better at like planning my backgrounds to be a part of my piece if I'm going to make a full-on painting or what have you. I find, for me personally, I have a hard time like visualizing background elements, even though when I like look through like either my saves on Instagram or my inspiration boards on Pinterest, like I love pieces where the background feels really full and very much like a part of the scene. The colors are really harmonious, the subject matter or the abstract design, just all of the shapes fit together really well, and I don't put that into my work. And this was, when I was doing this, I could definitely feel like the background was holding it back, so I definitely I guess I have something to add to my ever-growing artistic to learn list. But that's the fun thing about art, is that there's always something to learn. I know that kind of can be something to make it daunting, but there's always a new technique, a new style, a new subject matter, a new medium to try out. And speaking of like new mediums, I would like to invest in some like acrylic gouache. I've really, really wanted to try acrylic gouache for so long, and to see like this year in particular, so many like more creators in my Instagram feed have been using like the Holbein acrylic gouache, and I'm like, man, I just have to mentally, gosh, I gotta just like mentally get myself to the place where I can like buy it, because it's expensive, so I have to make sure that it's like a good purchase and like a good investment for me. But I feel like I've been using gouache since 2018, 2017, one of the two. And so I feel like, well, maybe we can try, it's not the same as traditional gouache, it's acrylic gouache, but it's definitely like a big boy paint as far as the budget goes. And so I feel like maybe we could try it out, but I don't know. It's the same feeling I felt like when I wanted Posca pens for years and years and years, and I finally got them last year for Christmas, because I couldn't buy them for myself at that like price point, which is, I feel like there are things that we come to accept as expensive in a hobby. So fountain pens, right? Like the pens I have are like cheap for fountain pens, but for pens, I guess to the average person it's expensive, right? And so there are things in hobbies that we kind of come to accept as expensive, but sometimes things are still a bit out of budget. So I finally got the Posca pens for Christmas last year, and it has been extremely satisfying to have. I think I just really like I like a painterly look and forms and what have you, but I think I really enjoy matte and flat and opaque, really solid mediums that lay down color pretty evenly. I like acrylics. I like acrylics. I like gouache. And interestingly, I know a lot of people go from like using watercolors to gouache, but I feel like using gouache was definitely something I was much more confident in for a while versus using watercolor. And kind of what actually got me into using watercolor, it wasn't even gouache, which would be the closest thing, but actually alcohol markers, because I think with the transparency and layering, there is definitely a lot of overlap there. So I don't know, I might upgrade my gouache the next time that I can afford to. There's like definitely something to be said about like wanting and desire when it comes to like making art. Obviously, I want new art supplies, or we want to make a new piece, or even something like more followers, right? But I feel like it's definitely like a double-edged sword. It can be a good thing to want to improve, but it can also be a very like critical thing too, right? Or you can definitely kind of get bogged down by like the things that you want, because it's the things, focusing on the things that you can't have, or you can't currently do or achieve. Those things are important to keep in your like line of sight though, right? Because it gives you a sense of direction. But wanting can also kind of so while it can kind of mean you're never satisfied, I think it also can give you space to make what you want to make, and make what you're wanting to make subject matter wise, stylistically, And I think that with like drawing and painting, when we draw or paint what we like, we definitely open up the potential to have like a lot of fun, because it's fun to make what you want, and I think a lot of people would agree with it. Doesn't mean it's fun 100% of the time, you know, there's still challenges, but I feel like we got a little bit more zest for those challenges. And so I think really the epitome of the double-edged sword of want is how you can definitely really like a piece and really want to improve it at the same time, and kind of seeing those things not as opposites, because I feel like a lot of times, especially like with younger artists, it's always keeping the eye on the next step, which is there's value and there's merit to that. And I also think there's value to recognizing that you can hold in yourself both a sense of enjoyment, pride, accomplishment, and warmth, and a recognition and acceptance of what needs to be better. I think for me, this piece definitely had a lot of that. There's so many elements that I do like about it, and a lot of elements that I'm like, yeah, I need to work on that. I need to work on that. Like the clothes for me is definitely like a big one. They could have been so much cleaner and so much like more defined, but I need to work on drawing clothes and simplifying those shapes. And of course, we already talked about the background. I already brought up how I wish I could have done something more with it. I wish I could have done something that felt incorporated, like it was really kind of a part of the piece, but I still like it. And also, a big thing, I guess, when it comes to looking back at your art is also thinking about time. Time was definitely a factor. I think I was kind of running out of gas as far as actually finishing the piece. And I know some people can work on the same piece for years and make absolutely incredible art, or for months, but after a few sessions of working on something, I'm tired. I'm ready to move on to something else. And I'm at this point in my artistic journey, I am perfectly fine with that. Since I didn't go with the striped background like in my sketch, I decided that I definitely wanted to have sun background elements, and so you can see me adding like little flame shapes and butterflies with Posca pen. And I also went over plenty of the gold places with my dip pen and some gold India ink to kind of finish everything off. So that's my Hu Tao piece. Thanks for watching.